fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kiru's show here. And now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Izuku Midoriya, who he believed that he was doing the right thing during the events of the Planet Hulk story. After Midoriya returned to Earth, he began to try and stop people from getting in their way. And Midoriya discovered he was in the wrong. Earth wasn't the ones that destroyed Sakaar. Midoriya turning himself in and facing a trial, where he entered the negative zone and S.H.I.E.L.D. did want to recruit him for a few tasks. Now, with that being said, Midoriya he did accept these tasks, in the hopes that one day he could prevent his family from encountering these villains. Now, with that being said, Midoriya took off into space in the negative zone and began his mission. Now, in the real world, it's been 3 months. Or to be more specific, let's say 92 days, where in the negative zone, if I believe I had it right, one day was 1 month. 92 days, 92 divided by 12, I believe that's 7.5 years, let's just say. Now, with that, Midoriya, he is standing over a villain, an enemy and a dictator, who he has enslaved his people. And Midoriya, he has killed this man, as people are cheering and celebrating. Midoriya just bringing up the bracelet on his wrist and clicking a button that is on the side, as he does radio into somebody that he has currently taken down this enemy of this sector, and that he's going to be scanning the body to see if it's anyone that they do recognize. Now, they would radio back that Midoriya can proceed, and a scanner would pop up then and there. Midoriya is scanning the enemy and trying to find out who this man is. The two didn't really have very much of a conversation, and in Midoriya's eyes, this man was just another villain on the list. Now, Midoriya, he is aware of the way time bends in this place. S.H.I.E.L.D. has informed him. After Midoriya was in here for about 2 months, somebody finally let it slip, and he realized how things were here. Now, it did relieve Midoriya somewhat. He can live out his sentence and barely age a day. So, what does that really mean? He's left alone with a longer lifespan, and he thinks about things a bit more clearly. It almost sucks in a way. Now, Midoriya, while he is doing this, he does fly off to go get another threat. In S.H.I.E.L.D., they do currently know how much the negative zone Midoriya has mapped out. The entire sector from quote-unquote Sector 0 or Prison 42, it has been mapped from that spot to about one part of the universe, and a few spaces here and there that Midoriya has traveled to. Now, S.H.I.E.L.D., they've mapped about 20% of the negative zone. and they've gained a vast understanding of the technology here. Midoriya has been a very big help, and very soon, they believe that they'll be able to map another 40. If Midoriya does continue at this pace, and so do their own resources. Now, while that does happen, we do actually cut to Earth, where Laura, she has been informed about Midoriya's younger sister being with the X-Men, and she did come to see her. Now, it was quite a shock, and you do even have the events that would transpire with Yui. The X-Men, they do seem cautious around her, especially because she hasn't revealed her abilities as of yet. And it's quite nerve-wracking, to say the least. If she has the same abilities as the other Midoriya, then she could be a danger to everyone. And it's scary to think about. Now, they did want to understand what Yui's powers were. And there was about 1 week after she'd arrive where she would show them off. Now, all of the mutants are gathered here, and you do have whenever she's facing off against another mutant. Let's say Magic was the one to volunteer, and she does at least want to fight this girl because of what it would mean. Now, there is whenever Magic does try to tell Yui to use her power. She wants to see it, as she does turn her skin into armor, and she does go to summon a blade. Now, this did take Yui by surprise, as Yui, she does just casually bring her hands out from behind her, and she would take a breath in, as people do see red orbs begin to form in her hands, as things around them begin to start spinning. And you can tell from just looking at her that her powers are starting to heat up. Now, the moment Magic saw the color of these orbs, she rushed her, and she wanted to get payback. Now, Yui should just cock back her hand and throw one of the orbs straight at Magic, as it did blast at her and blow up on her, her being sent flying backwards. Now, this was quite insane, as people do watch the battle. The way Yui is fighting, she is able to manipulate this energy, this red crimson energy, and it's very insane. In fact, it kind of reminds them of the Scarlet Witch, and it's very nerve-wracking to say the least. Now, they're watching Yui move around with it. She's able to manipulate it into a hand and press down to the floor, throwing her body in one different direction, as she's able to quickly outpace another mutant. Now, they classified her as Delta whenever she first arrived. However, she quickly was able to be classified as a Beta level mutant, or closer to an Alpha level, which is not very far from an Omega. The leap there could be insane. However, this is a sparring match, and both are holding back. At least this young girl is. Now, after the match is over, people, they do look at Yui, and she was happy that she won. However, people, they seem to be unsettled when we just look around, asking about this, to which people do try to explain. Yui, she learns about it all. Her brother, he went to the moon, and he apparently killed some Inhumans there, beat the shit out of Black Bolt, and then came down to Earth. He then, in the span of one single day, murdered half of the world's heroes. He also did murder the girl she just fought's brother, two other mutants by the name of Kitty and Kirk. Now, Yui thought that there was some mistake. She knew that her brother murdered Colossus, and she was aware he was trying to face redemption in that. However, hearing that he murdered more people, that was a surprise to her. Now she knows why her brother felt so guilty. Why he didn't feel like it was right to see them. He didn't feel like he should have faced them. And it's kind of nerve-wracking to say the least. Now, you do actually then have a few people who are standing by. And this would be whenever they do walk up. As someone would put their hand on Yui's shoulder. Yui going to spin around and see who this is. As there you do have Irma. Now, Yui, she's confused. Hello? Who are you? Oh, I'm very sorry. My name is Irma Stedford. Okay. And you're a mutant, right? Yes, I am. You're Yui Midoriya, correct? Yes. Okay. Well, I knew your older brother. Really? Yes, I did. Besides, he wasn't always a bad guy, as much as people around here say. He was a good man. And, well, you can't really blame him. They're talking about what he recently did, not what he's gone through to get him to that point. Now, Yui, she kind of doesn't understand. However, she does learn about the other reality. Her being taken aback, asking how that's possible. To which Irma, she does walk and talk with Yui, leaving the other Stedfords behind. Now, they are aware that if they all do come walking up and they're talking in unison, they can confuse the young girl. So it's best just let one of them tell the story. Now, Yui, she's very much intrigued. Hearing her brother's tale, the life he's lived that people seem to just ignore. Now, Midoriya, whenever he was very young, and he was still trying to gain his bearing on everything. The reality where he says he's from. She was a lot younger. She wasn't around her age, she would have been 7. Or at least at the very most 8 years old around the time. Midoriya, he witnessed an event where people were hunting down mutants. And after that, things began to get worse. This one single event kick-started how everything else would go. And it's kind of terrifying. People were massacring mutants all around the globe. And they wanted to get rid of them. And it seemed to be just very ignorant. However, she does go through more of the information, and even learn that her brother was mind-controlled at one point in his life. The way he acted about that. Midoriya, he almost murdered Captain Marvel. And he actually did break Thor's arm, along with ripping off the Hulk's jaw. Now, she was surprised about these. Then again, he did kind of, And there's even how she does describe the battle in Genosha. Now, Yui was taken even more by surprise learning that her brother died and seemingly resurrected himself. Now, he did then leave the X-Men and went to Mutant Town, where the two would have met. Him without his powers. Now, she does talk about how one day he seemed to be doing very well, and then all of a sudden he was freaking out. And it was because his powers were returning. Midoriya, as she would say it in her own words, was a man blessed with the power of a god. And the moment he did not want that power, it came back. Midoriya's dream is for a better world for everyone else around him, and just to be a simple man. However, after Midoriya was sent away, his dream was changed. Midoriya, he never knew his father in one timeline. Meanwhile, in the other one, his relationship with him was very, well, unstable, you could say. They would talk, and he would come by to see him, the man. But even then, the two didn't really speak very often. And then there's also the fact that he's battling with both sides. Now, she would explain that Midoriya latched onto Charles Xavier as a father figure, and Xavier betrayed the boy's trust. Now, Yui, she does get a full rundown on everything. And it's very strange. She's only met her brother twice. And both times, he did seem to be very good. He seemed to have a genuinely good idea of what he wanted to do. And it was very strange. Midoriya's been through so much. And as far as she's aware, he's been at it alone. Now, you would ask Irma, why is she telling her all of this? To which she would explain. A lot of people are going to say a lot of bad things about her brother. But her brother is a good man. However, it's just the way that his life has been. It's the way people react to mutants. Telling her that she will face ignorance from people. And that they need to follow what Charles once said. Even if the man isn't himself anymore. Now, Yui would hear it. They need to take precautions. And stay safe. Now, with that being said, Irma would walk away. As Yui, she does get a look down at her hands. She knows that her and her brother share this one power. However, she's just wondering if they do share another power. Now, while that is happening and going on in Yui's head, we do actually have Onslaught. Who? He is making a plan. He wants to rally mutants to his cause. However, no one does seem to want to join him. He's talked to the Brotherhood of Mutants, and they seem to be on his side. However, something's about to happen. He knows it. He can feel it. Even without the help of it, the help of Cerebro, he knows another mutant will be born. And once the ugliness of the world is seen, then things will get a whole lot easier. Now, this is what's going through Charles Xavier's head. Exactly 1 week before Hope Summers, the first mutant after M-Day, will be born. Now, With that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing night. Catch you guys in the next part.